It's got 10 sides. So decagon. So first and foremost, how many degrees are each angle in a decagon? 144. So in this case, they gave us the side length. So perimeter's easy, but we don't have the apothem. So if I just kind of sketch the apothem and the radius, what's the angle going to be right here in the little right triangle? If all of the angles are 144 and that one's split, it's 72. Okay, I'm going to draw the triangle a little bigger just so we can easily see this. This is 72. What's this piece right here, which is right here? Well, yeah, that's 90, but right here. Yeah, 1.5. So this is the apothem is our x here. So which trig function do we have to do? Yeah. Remember, unless they give you the radius, it's always going to be tangent, because you're always going to be dealing with opposite and adjacent unless they give you the radius. Okay, so we're going to do tangent of 72 equals opposite over adjacent. Then what do we do? Divide by 1. Yeah, multiply by 1.5 on both sides. So then we're ready to type it into the calculator. 1.5 tangent 72. They'll tell me what that is. 4.61? 62. All right. So that's our apothem. So we're going to plug that in here. And what's our perimeter? 30. 10 sides, y'all called it a decagon, so that's 10 sides, and if all the sides are 3, that's a perimeter of 30. So don't clear that. Remember, I was saying that yesterday. Do not clear the trig answer, because you want to not round until the last step. So multiply what's in your calculator, not 4.62, but the whole decimal that was in there, times 30, and then half it, and tell me what you get. 69, and it just said nearest tenth, so 0.2. Somebody verified that that's what you got too. Yeah. And what's our units? Yep. Perfect. Okay. All right. Do y'all have another one y'all want to do? 17. Okay. What shape is 17? Not quite. 18 is a stop sign. Yeah. 17 is a septagon or heptagon because it's got 7 sides. So what are the angles in a septagon?
128.57.
Okay. I'm just going to put 0.6 just to make it less decimals. So when we draw that radius, what's this angle? 64.2. Okay. So what's this piece right here in the triangle? 5, yeah. Because all the sides are 10. And remember, it's always half of the side. So we need our apothem here. So which trig function? Tangent. So tangent of 64.3 is opposite over adjacent. So then what? So put that in your calculator. Point what? So about 10.4. Just leave that in your calculator though. So that's the apothem. So when we do our area formula, half AP, what's our perimeter? Remember, the formula is half AP every time, or half PA. It doesn't matter. Sometimes you'll see it written AP and sometimes PA. But the perimeter is just every side added up, and they're all what? Yeah, they're all 10, and there's 7 of them. So multiply with the number that's in your calculator by 70 and then half it and tell me what you get. So what the trig function you have in your calculator, do times 70 and then half.
63.6.
What's after the 6?
A 2.
And that's right. What's our units?
It doesn't say.
Then what do you put if it doesn't say?
Unit squared.
Units squared. Okay. Remember, the only ones that you can get away without doing trig, because these examples we did trig, the only ones that there's even a choice not to do trig are the triangles, the equilateral triangles, the squares, and the hexagons. There's no choice but to do trig on every other one, because those are the only one that angle ends up being one of our special angles, the 30, 60, 90, or the 45, 45, 90. Okay? Do y'all have another one? Or do y'all feel ready to go? Number 8? Okay. So this is a good example because I know you know how to find the area of triangles because we did that Monday, base times height divided by 2, but the thing is you don't have the base or the height here. And the apothem is not necessarily going to be half the height. I'll be honest, sometimes it is. It is when you have an even number of sides, like a hexagon or a square. On those cases, the apothem is half of the height because it goes from the middle to the edge. But here, from the middle to the edge is a different length than from the middle to the point. They're not half. So there's no way for you to know the base or the height without doing all the math that you would need to do 1/2 AP anyway. So this is an example of when you would use the regular polygon for a triangle instead of the triangle formula. Okay? What are the angles in a regular triangle? 60. So when we draw that radius, what's this? This angle here? 30. So if I already have a 90, doesn't that mean this one's 60? Yeah. So this is a 30, 60, 90 triangle. So I have to do trig here. I'm just drawing it again, bigger. So we have this one. So remember, across from your 30 is your what in a 30, 60, 90? Well, yeah, but yeah, it's x. Thank you. So this is x. What's across from your 60? Yeah. And then we don't need it, but across from your 90 is your 2x. That's just the radius. And the only time we ever even need the radius is if that's what they gave us. We use it to find the others. But we don't need it for the formula. So if x is 8, then that means this piece is 8 square root of 3. So that's this. So what's the whole side? Yeah, 16 square root of 3. So for perimeter, you're just going to triple that. What do I get when I triple 16? So it's 48 square root of 3 for the perimeter. So when we plug all this in, half, you already had your A, and now we have our P. Okay, so what's half of 8? 4. What's 4 times 48? 100 and what?
92.
Okay. So that right here, what I just wrote, is technically the exact answer, but the directions say round to the nearest tenth. So put 192 square root of 3 into your calculator. Okay, and what are our units here? Yeah, just units squared. I think that's the first one of the triangles that we've done this way. So, like I said, with triangles, same with squares, you actually have more than one way to do it. How you determine which way to do it is based on what they gave you. Was that Nicole Mauricion?
Nicole?
Did Nicole just walk by? Yeah, come on in here. Miss Kemp's out today. Yeah, I think we still have some empty seats. Sorry, it was unexpected, so there's not a sub yet. All right. Y'all good? Or do y'all want to do another one? One more? Okay.
We should do another one.
I will say, between today and yesterday, we've done triangles, pentagons, hexagons, septagons, octagons, and decagons. So we haven't done quadrilaterals, and we haven't done nonagons. So 9. Now, obviously, if I had been given a side for a square, wouldn't I just do side squared? Yeah. Even technically, if you had been given the apothem, because this has an even number of sides, the apothem is half of the height. So you still could do side squared, like just as an example. If I gave you this and I told you it was 4, well then the height is 8 and that's the side length. So 8 squared would be easy. It's when they give you the radius that it's not easier to do the side squared formula. Okay? So what are the angles if it's a square? They're 90. So what's this angle? 45. And since the apothem always forms a 90, that makes this a 45. Okay? So what is across from the 45s in a special triangle that's a 45, 45, 90? Neither.
Wait, across from the 45
Mm-hmm.
is X.
Mm-hmm. So these are your X's, right? What's across from the 90? No, but you're close. It's not 2x. That's on the 30s. Yeah, x square root of 2. So in this case, the one that's supposed to have the square root didn't. Do y'all remember how you work backwards from that? No? Okay, technically, you set them equal, but then you have to solve for x, and then you have to rationalize the denominator. Remember, it was like several steps of algebra, but we learned it once we did it, that whatever this number is, if it's supposed to have the square root and it doesn't, you half it. What's half of 16? Half of 16. 8. So then, since this one didn't have the square root, this one has to. Okay? 8 square root of 2. Let me see if the light helps. Is that a little better? That's for both of them. So that's half of the side length, isn't it? Either because it's the same here, and that's half the side length, or it's the same here. So how long are the sides? Well, 8 square root of 2 is just this part. So how long is the whole thing? 16 square root of 2. So you could still do 1/2 AP. That's fine. But I will tell you, since we already now have the side length, it's actually easier to just do the other formula now. Okay? You couldn't go straight to it because you didn't have it. But I will show you both ways just so you see you get the same answer. So if I do the 1/2 AP, A is this, and the perimeter is 4 of these, right? 4 sides. Okay. So that's what the formula looks like when you plug in everything for 1/2 AP. I tell them to come in. Yeah, she's not here. Okay. So notice you have 2 square roots of 2. What's the square root of 2 times the square root of 2?
Square root of 4.
Yeah, and what's the square root of 4? 2. So remember the 2 square roots. Thank you. They just equal 2. Okay. So you have 2 times a half. Don't those just cancel? Okay. So it makes it a little easier. 8 times 4 times 16. 512. Okay, and then that would be unit squared. So that's if you did the 1/2 AP. But just so you see it both ways, you don't have to do it both ways ever. If it's side squared, and we just figured out the side was 16 square root of 2, if I square that, what's 16 squared? $16 squared. $256. Okay. And the square root of 2 squared? Remember, square and square root cancel? So it's just 2. What's 256 times 2? You know what it better be, but check and see if it is. Yeah. So just so you see, I did it both ways. I got the same answer. On this particular one, it really didn't make much of a difference which way I did it. This way, the formula was a little simpler. But either way, I couldn't just go straight to the formula. I had to figure out the stuff using the 45, 45, 90. Okay? Alrighty. I'm going to stop there and let y'all work on the rest.